Hello everybody, welcome to the fifth round of the championship here in the 2025 Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship Digital Racing Challenge. We are here at Most, Autodrom Most in Czechia, and this very tight and twisty circuit is going to provide a massive challenge for our drivers here this evening as we head into the second part of the season. It's certainly going to be an exciting time tonight with so many heavy braking zones and long flowing fast corners for drivers to try and get right, and we're looking forward to two more races here this evening in this digital racing challenge. First off though, we need to have a quick look back at how we got to this point of the championship and have a look back at the previous event at the Nürburgring. And there you have it, a very hard-fought race meeting last time out at the Nürburgring to signify the end of the first half of the season. And we now move on to the fifth event of the championship, and this is how the Drivers' Championship looks coming here into Czechia. Jorge Vila at the moment is on 257 points, and he leads the way from Csaba Hegedűs, who is only 19 points behind him. And then in third position, Robin Kruithoff, nice and close as well, just 23 points back. There's a slight gap then to Cornel Berkes and Gergo Balai, but the two of them are consistent front runners and will definitely be still scoring big points as the championship goes on. They will only be a couple of points behind every single race, really. They're always there in the picture, so you don't need to worry about them dropping off anytime soon. They'll be there ready to pick up any pieces. Mark Muhlmann is having quite a good season so far. He's in 6th place ahead of Gillian Christian. Bjorn Teichhuis finds himself in 8th place, tied with Josi Vila. And then Nathan Smith, only 1 point behind those guys, in 10th position. Good to see Nathan up there in the top 10. Behind them is Benjamin Rico Rodriguez, Aitor Marinas and Alberto Garcia tied on 143 points. And how about this? Alex Little, Angel Rapero and Germán Tobias Martinez all on 131 points each for 14th place. Matis Krizmanic finds himself 17th, not too far out of the picture either. Then it's Gyula Zentai, Victor Shabardos and Andreas Wagner completes the top 20 drivers. Having a quick look over to the Teams Championship standing, though, it's mighty close here as well. As you see, Urban Sim Racing just 2 points clear of Alvi Truck Sport. And let's have a look at the fact that there's only 2 points in it, with just 20 back to the third place team as well, DTR, Dutch Truck Racing Team. They're all in the same picture. 20 points is, to be fair, quite a small advantage in the Drivers' Championship, let alone the Teams Championship, where they have multiple trucks who can all score points over the night. Boss Truck Racing, FOA and Buck Aqua Racing are a little bit further behind, but still all close together, ahead of Rising Suns Motorsport, Team Panos Albacete, then Auto Vigatana and Team Corina's Astorga Racing in the top 10 as well. Those top two teams so close together, and it's going to be like that until the very final race. This is Autodrom Most, though, one of my very favourite circuits on the calendar. A massively underappreciated circuit as well, if you ask me. It's a huge challenge, this place, because there are so many long sweeping corners and very tight, slow chicanes and hairpins as well. It's got a little bit of everything, but it's got 22 corners, which is more than most Grand Prix circuits around the world. We've got two 12-lap races here today, 4.2 kilometres as well, so quite long races this time round. As you see, 2 minutes a lap in these machines. It's certainly not a quick sprint, this one, and drivers will have to try and look after their tyres as best they can throughout the entire evening's racing. You've got me, Chaz Draycott, up in the commentary box once again for this season. I'm the commentator on the Real World Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship as well. Seems like I'll be back for the Real World season, which is good news. It seems to be a bit of an assumption at the moment, but I'm excited to be back all the same, and it's great to be here for the Digital Racing Challenge with the wonderful support from Gero Mulkow, the series organizer and broadcaster, doing a hell of a lot to make my life a lot easier. Now, we have a bit of a tribute to pay this evening, I'm afraid, in pretty sad circumstances, of course. Benny Teichhuis is unfortunately on his way out, let's say, bless him, and he's with us here this evening to watch this final race, and he will unfortunately be leaving us on Monday, tomorrow. He has obviously Bjorn and Henry Teichhuis in this race. Benny himself drove truck racing in the 80s, in the 1980s, and then he worked as a mechanic for Tönnies Holsteiger in the late 80s and into the 90s, and then he came to help Henry and Erwin at the end of the 1990s. From there, he's helped loads of teams and people in the following years in the world of truck racing, and he's got much help from a lot of teams as well over that time. But Monday, Benny will say goodbye to us, and we'll report to Connie Hahn, the legend himself, and all others who support us from above in the truck racing family. So, Benny, we hope you enjoy the show this evening, and we hope that Bjorn and Henry could put on a fantastic show for you as well. We look at Henry right now. We were just looking at Bjorn a moment ago. Henry currently in 14th position. And they have the Bedankt Benny windscreen banners on the trucks as well, as you can see, which is absolutely a lovely touch. A very, very heartfelt bit of appreciation for our wonderful Benny. So hopefully, Benny, you enjoy the show. And it's good to have you with us here this evening. Here's Jorge Vila, currently fastest at the moment, 2 minutes 0.9 for him as he heads round into the final couple of corners. And it's Csaba Hegedűs that's second at the minute, but 0.4 of a second back, so not really too much of a threat at this stage. Robin Kreutoff is in third position, then Gergo Balai. A little bit of a smaller grid here tonight, but again, as I said at the Nürburgring, a lot of the drivers here will really appreciate the fact that it's a slightly quieter circuit, so they don't have to push too hard to make it up into a higher point scoring position. And there may be a lot of big points that come their way from a race meeting such as this one, where there's less entrants. As we say, you've got to be in it to win it, especially in a championship as tightly competitive as this one. As we've seen, there's only 23 points between the top three drivers at the moment. Csaba Hegedűs has moved up into second position from third. Cornel Berkes has got ahead of Gergo Balai in the previous rounds. But yeah, Csaba trying his best to go chasing after Jorge Vila, who has been on unbelievable form, it must be said. But he has quite a lot of points to drop. So with drop scores in the championship, they obviously don't get every single point they score. It's more down to the drop of points from their worst results that really stabilizes things. And it's nice to see how close it all gets together. We see now Robin Kreutoff with the Bedankt Benny windscreen banner. He's making his way around during qualifying. He's got right behind him on the circuit right now Mark Muehlmann, then the number 25 Scania. That livery does look absolutely awesome on that machine. He started running that just a few weeks ago in one of the previous rounds of the championship. I think it was Zolder where we first saw that, but it looks absolutely mega. We'll just look how tight that first chicane is. On the real world cameras at Most, we struggle sometimes to get a real appreciation as for how tight that corner is. But right now, Robin Kreutoff, well, he's pushing on as hard as he can. I think his last lap was an out lap. He's got 4 3/4 minutes left to go, 0.2 of a second off. Gillian Christian coming to the line, truck 16. Let's have a look at a lap around here then, shall we, at Most. You've got this long start finish straight, slightly downhill towards the end, then hard on the brakes into a 90 right and then a 90 left. Really tight chicane that. You will see a lot of people try moves there, but if you're going to do it, you have to be very respectful of your fellow competitors. Make sure you leave them lots of room on the way in, lots of room on the way out. Don't try and squeeze them too much to the apex. And here in the sim, especially if you have contact, it will be very hefty. So turn 4 was the long left-hander. Then you go down to turns 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. This double right-hander is 7 and 8. 9 is this little left flick here. They go over the grass. They can get away with it there. Then the hairpin at turn 10. Long sweeping hairpin. You've got to be really careful. You've got to try and square the corner off. Get on the brakes. Get off them nice and smoothly. Back onto the power. And as you go up the gears, try not to snatch it too much. Now this part of the circuit, turns 11, 12 and 13, reminds me of Donington Park here in the UK. You sort of head down the hill through these long sweeps and then to this sort of tight right-hander at the bottom of the hill, almost like the old hairpin. Through turn 14, little kink, and then 15 under the bridge. And now you're going back downhill again, and the grip seems to just slide away from you here. As you can see, I mean, Gillian Christian putting all of the steering lock in the world on to try and get the thing to behave through turn 16, 17, up through 18. It really doesn't want to behave itself down there because, like I say, the momentum of these trucks as you go down the hill, it's pulling the weight off the circuit and then down into the final couple of corners. Now you're going back uphill again, so it feels like you've all of a sudden got a lot more grip through here. Gillian really piling the steering lock on through there, making sure that he's getting every bit of rotation out of those tyres that he can. He's following Jorge and Josi Vila. Across the line he goes. And it's 8th fastest for Gillian Christian, 1.25 seconds away from pole position at the moment. No improvement that really throws him up the order from this point. But Jorge Vila did fastest sectors on each of that previous lap. So he's on an absolute mission, to say the least. That was his best, a 2 minutes .971. Which actually is showing as his best lap, but it's actually a 2 minutes .913. According to... sorry, apologies. That wasn't his last lap. My timing had frozen for a second there when he'd gone and set the previous lap. So he's gone, well, barely a 1/10 of a second down on his best lap last time round. So he's still close to that. He's close to his ultimate pace. So he can recreate it time and time again. But he's just trying to piece together that perfect lap here at Most, and that is not something that's easy to do. Like I've said, there's 22 corners around this place. So there's plenty of opportunity to just get it that slight bit wrong, and in machines that are so momentum dependent like this, you never really know what to expect from one corner to the next. It can behave so differently lap after lap in these machines. But this season so far, Jorge Vila has shown us that he's the class of the field. Is he going to do that again now? He's not improved in any of the sectors so far. He's a second down on his personal best. I think maybe he's trying to help Josi Vila behind him to see if he can give him a little bit of slipstream, help him improve. Where does he go? No improvement for him either. He was 0.04 of a second off. Here's Gogo Balai across the line. No improvements for him either. Seems like late on in the session here, these guys have all set some of their best times. There's Angel Rapero, truck number 87. I think Angel was ruffling a few feathers during the practice session earlier. Hopefully no more of that here this evening. I'm happy to have heard from Giro that the stewarding was quite quiet after the Nürburgring. It was a very close fought race meeting, but yeah, no people really that upset about much. So a nice clean and tidy evening for them. Session comes to a close, and at the moment, Cornel Burquez, Shaba Hagedouche and Gillian Christian have been able to complete their times with no major improvements. Mark Muehlmann coming around to do his last lap. He's just heading down the hill right now in the final half. Trying to push the Scania for everything it's got through this sector. Going to be as late as he dares on the brakes now under the bridge. Through to the right-hander. Can he keep it nice and tidy? Certainly looks like it. And around the final corner, nice and smooth on the power. Carefully up through the gears, not to snatch up that rear axle. And across the line goes Mark Muehlmann. And it's no improvement for him this time. No improvement for Mark Muehlmann. He will remain 9th at best. He did a personal best final sector, but it wasn't enough to make up for the deficit over the rest of the lap. Just seeing who else we've got. We've got Vila and Vila actually just heading into the pit lane. So they have determined that their qualifying session is over. We look here at Aitor Marinas, truck 13, just on his way back round into the pit lane. You can see a little bit of sliding around, which would say to me that his session's done. He's just enjoying it. Either that or he's pushing like mad. Wait and see. Here's Germán Tobias Martinez. One of the last trucks to make it round. Marinas comes into the pit lane as expected. Germán Tobias Martinez then to the line in the Scania. He does improve, goes up into 13th position. Not a major improvement, but an improvement all the same. And here right now is a lovely parade in-lap by the outstanding Robin Kreutzhoff and Mark Muehlmann, who has joined him this season and put on a really good show so far. These guys doing a lap of honour, so to speak, on their way in. The server ticks over to the race session itself. And now everybody will be teleported to the correct part of the circuit to line up for the start of the race. And I'm excited to see what Csaba Hegedűs, Krojtov and Balai can do about Jorge Vila in the opening stage of this race, because to be fair to Jorge, his starts have been wonderful. And he's been able to break away from these guys in the previous race meetings very, very suddenly and just not look back at all. So I'm excited to see whether he can keep that sort of starting form up and whether he'll be able to defend. I mean, his pace is clearly very, very strong around this place. He was nearly half a second quicker than anybody else. So he's got a decent advantage, to say the least. But we'll have to wait and see whether he can get away from Hegedűs in the opening stages, whether the lap times don't tell the full story, and whether some of these guys just have better race pace, because you've all seen it before, you know, qualifying and the race can change things completely. You know, there'll be absolutely different sessions. You'll have one where somebody is clearly fastest in qualifying, but then in the race, you know, looking after the tyres and keeping the truck in top nick throughout is a different kettle of fish, as we say over here in the UK. But Jorge Vila, well, he knows what to do in the real world and he knows what to do in the sim. He's certainly very, very good at this. I just wonder how well Csaba can stay with him. We wait for a minute or so for everybody to be into the session cleanly, have everything set up, and the countdown time before the start of the race will be accounting. Quite a nerve-wracking time for the drivers, sitting on the grid, waiting for the time to tick down. Now you will see the start-finish lights, and the start lights for the race, as if it was going to be a standing start, but we have a choreographed rolling start here. So the drivers set off on a formation lap, and then when they come to the final corner they hold a set speed. The leader determines when they go, and then they get the race underway from pole position, so long as the second place car, or truck I should say in this instance, is not ahead of them and is definitely in line. They do look at these start procedures here. They are right on it, very hot on it, to make sure that nobody is out of line, nobody's sort of not necessarily cheating with it, but you know, trying to gain an unfair advantage from a race start, and especially a rolling start. It is very easy. So they make sure that everyone behaves themselves and doesn't overdo it. Conditions at the moment are very, very tidy. A little bit of cloud in the sky, but nothing too bad. And I think the drivers will be grateful for some lower track temperatures. Make sure that they can look after their tyres for much more of the race. Because it's quite a long race round here at Most, and it's a very demanding circuit on the tyres as well. A big shout out to Goodyear, the title sponsor of not just the real world Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship, but the virtual contingent too. And Goodyear, as we know, do a wonderful job at making their racing tyres, and then they retread them for real world road use. I know that there were some comments in previous live streams about whether it'd be funny to have the tyres from the race trucks used in Euro Truck Simulator 2 and used on the virtual road. That would be a fantastic way of doing it, if there was a potential way of tracking that at least. But in a 25 or so minute race, you have to be very careful with the tyres, especially with the amount of lock and steering lock that these drivers put on in these races. You've all seen it. We were riding on board with Gillian Christian before, and he was pushing like crazy through the corners, using more than 90 degrees of lock and then some to ensure that he could get it around the corner as tightly as possible. As you see then, the start lights will now come on. but the drivers will just pull away at the start of a formation lap. They'll light up some of the tyres, get a bit of temperature in them, do what they can. What will be a long old formation lap now begins here at Most. But it's Jorge Vila, pole position, starting alongside Csaba Hegedűs. Behind them on the second row of the grid we have Robin Kruithoff, Gergo Balai in fourth position. I'm excited to see what Gergo can do from there. You've got Angel Rapero, Josi Vila as well. Next up, Cornel Burkes in the mix in truck 64. So a lot of the urban sim racing Ivecos near the front of the field here. Once again, flooding the front half of the order, so to speak. Josi Vila is next door to Gillian Christian on the grid, 66 and 16. Then behind them, Mark Muehlmann and Bastian Donker. We didn't see too much of Bastian at the Nürburgring. I think he had a bit of a rough evening, unfortunately. He had a few incidents here and there. But behind him, Bjorn Teichhuis and Aitor Marinas. Aitor Marinas certainly getting amongst it in the fights so far this season. I'm excited to see what he does around here at Most, because you need a lot of patience at this place. Some of the drivers will be gunning for the checkered flag from the very start, to say the least. Herman Tobias Martinez next up with Alberto Garcia alongside him in truck number 43. Then we have Gyula Zentai and Henry Teichhuis, 15th and 16th. One of the only, well, actually the only Freightliner in the field tonight, Gyula Zentai. No Alex Little with us this evening, which is a shame. And we have Henry Teichhuis and Christian Artizeros, Hendrik Neitsch and Matis Krizminic completing the 19 drivers in our field. The 05 ART Racing Team machine may be starting at the back of the order, but he's shown before that he's got the ability to make his way through the pack. It's not all just down to qualifying pace. Now the field begins to form up 2 by 2 as Jorge Vila leads them towards the final couple of corners now. And it's Csaba Hegedűs alongside him. I'm still confused by the number 48 on the side of his truck, despite him registering as number 34 in the championship. We will get to the bottom of that one day. But will they be able to get to the bottom of Jorge Vila's championship lead? There's a 19-point advantage coming here to Autodrom Most. And we know that he will not give that up without a fight. Round the final corner they go then. And race number 1 tonight in the 2025 Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship Digital Racing Challenge in Czechia is underway, and it's a big old jump off the line by Jorge Vila, and look in the background there. Now, I was talking earlier about getting an advantage off the start. Alberto Garcia clearly knows when Jorge Vila was going to go. These guys probably talked to each other, but Alberto Garcia was very, very quick off the mark there. Maybe a little bit too quick, suspiciously quick. Csaba Hegedűs has gone straight on at the chicane, though. He's lost a bunch of ground. Gergo Balai sideways there with Josi Vila. Mark Muehlmann pushed out wide. Gillian Christian in the mix as well. Now Hegedűs is having to give back the time that he gained by going straight over the chicane. He was late on the brakes, locked up that rear axle, and his opportunity to get ahead of Jorge Vila in the opening moments has gone, and he was second in the championship coming here. He's having to defend hard. Mark Muehlmann and Gillian Christian come to blows there. Big old hit by the number 16. He goes across the grass back onto the circuit, but there is Hegedűs in 4th position now. He's behind his teammate Cornel Burkes, but importantly for Robin Kruithoff, he is ahead of his championship rival. There's only 4 points between them as well in the championship right now, and that will get turned around very quickly unless Csaba Hegedűs does something about it. Gergo Balai off the road, just up the hill there. You can see Gillian Christian trying to get alongside him. Mark Muehlmann's got Angel Rapero and Aitor Marinas just behind, completing the top 10. Don't forget to keep an eye out on the top 8 positions as well. They swapped the top 8 after race number 1. race number 2, we'll have 8th place finisher on pole position. Oh, sorry, the 8th place finisher from race number 1 will be on pole for race 2. And Mark Muehlmann wants that 8th place. Looking down the inside of Angel Rapero. Angel gives him the room on the turn in. Two Scanias very close together. Mark Muehlmann still tucks his nose back down the inside. Great respect by the pair of them. Plenty of room given. Maybe a little bit more please on the start-finish straight. Side by side they go, and Mark Muehlmann now has the inside line for turn 1. Watch the blue machine. Vitor Marinas behind. Can he outbrake Angel Rapero and get a position as well? Angel wants to put his nose back down the inside again, but no, Mark Muehlmann goes through. Josi Vila and the number 64 of Cornel Burke side by side in our picture-in-picture. Quite the gap between the top 3 now after that first lap. Jorge Vila getting away. Then it's Robin Kreutoff in second position. Gabor Hegedus back ahead of his teammate now into third, and Burkes has been left to hold off Josi Vila. How long can he do that for? That is not an easy task. I love that view of that hairpin as they go into turn 10 on the inside. Really shows you the wide radius of the corner and how much the trucks slow down to then get going again. There's a lot of momentum carried in corners like that, even at slow speed as well. It's a lot of lateral momentum as the truck tries to understeer itself into oblivion. We look here though at Josi Vila. So far this season he's got 5 top 10 finishes. He's been in the top 5 just twice this season, but still finds himself 8th in the championship, tied with Bjorn Teijhus. We look here at Herman Tobias Martinez, down in 13th position. Not normally where we'd actually see him. He's shown some great pace at some rounds of the championship to be pretty much a front runner anyway. But right now, he's 14th in the championship, tied with Alex Little and Angel Rapero. We know that he'll want more when it comes to how this championship concludes. He's definitely got the pace to be higher up than that, but he's a driver that has a lot of bad luck, unfortunately. We've seen him in incidents here and incidents there. He's all over the back of Bastien Donker. Bastien certainly started the season out stronger than he's performing at the moment. It's sometimes the case that it goes both ways in a championship as highly competitive as this. You get drivers that just get used to it more and more as the campaign goes on, and they get quicker and quicker. And other drivers, they fall by the wayside a little bit. They sort of stay where they were and they don't continue to improve race after race. They just maintain a pace rather than improve it. Right now though, Mark Muehlmann all over the back of the number 16 Gillian Christian. He's going to feel a little bit hard done by after that first couple of laps because of the big bit of contact as the number 16 went off the road and back on again. I'm intrigued to see how quickly Mark can get back with him. Bastien Donker has got the number 43 machine right in front of him, of Alberto Garcia. You can see that in the picture-in-picture. He's trying to chase down the MAN in another one of the Scanias. Mark Muehlmann certainly putting Gillian Christian under more pressure than he's putting Gogo Balai under. Let's see how long that one lasts. Azur, Bastien sideways over the grass there. Just a little bit too quick through the long right-hander. Does it somewhat, to say the least. This is an interesting situation right now for Bastien Donker. He doesn't want to be sat right there behind Garcia because while he's sort of squashed into that position, he's got Martinez right behind him as well, hoping to make a move. In a similar situation is now Mark Muehlmann. He's caught up to Christian, but he's also got Angel Repero all over the back of him as well. Now, he made a move on Angel earlier on to take that position. Angel is going to want it straight back from him. So Mark needs to be mighty careful. Because if he launches an attack and it doesn't work, you can bet that Angel Repero is going to be there to try and pick up the pieces. There he is in the 87 Scania. Lovely looking livery on Angel Repero's truck. I think in previous seasons he had a black, orange and white livery instead of this sort of almost like a day glow yellow. As we go back inside the cockpit of Mark Muehlmann's Scania, you could see there he was taking a few stabs at that turn in, and that's why he's overdone it. Angel Repero did the same behind him though as well. Went way too hot into the corner. Muehlmann decides to defend the inside line. Just make sure that he's covered it off. I don't think he necessarily had to do that, but he's costing himself and Repero time by doing so now. Repero gets a lovely run through the right-hander. Obviously they get to 100 miles an hour, 160 kilometers an hour, and they go no faster. They're not electronically limited in the real world, they are more governed. But here in the sim, we have the ability to perfectly limit them to 160 k's. So the drivers can't cheat the system and push on a little bit as, oh dearie me. Mark Muehlmann has to cover the inside line all the way down the straight. He's making Angel work for this one. Repero dives to the inside a little bit late, looks for it on the brakes. Oh, there's contact. And straight on goes Mark Muehlmann at the chicane. I'm not sure if he moved a little bit late back in front of Repero there, but yeah, that was not the cleanest move we'll see. I don't think Repero did anything wrong, technically. And where did Mark Muehlmann end up? He almost landed back in Hungary. I think he went that far straight on. He's just there behind Gillian Christian. But if he stays where he is there, it's clear to me that he's gained an advantage by leaving the circuit. Not to get him in too much trouble, but at the end of the day, you have to judge the fact that he knows what truck he was battling with, and that was Angel. And all of a sudden, he has 1.3 seconds over him. That doesn't seem right, does it? This is Bastian Donker still chasing down the number 43 of Alberto Garcia. And it's very, very close, isn't it? He's all over the back of him right now. It looked like he was going to make contact as they went through the right-hander there, but to no avail. Now this is the battle for second position. Further up the order, Csaba Hegedűs is all over the back of Robin Kreutoff right now. Thought Robin was going to go chasing down the race leader Jorge Vila, but it's definitely not been the case here. Csaba lost this position at the start, and now he's really using that pace to try and get back into second place and reprove that point that he's one of the quickest drivers in the series. I mean, we know that anyway with where he is in the championship. Same with Robin Kreutoff. These guys not messing about this season, but at the end of the day, with how many points are on offer and with Jorge Vila driving away up the road, they can't risk to just sit behind one another and just accept the points how they are. They have to try and push for every single position. I know that Csaba will want to get past Robin. There's Bastian again in our picture-in-picture. Trying it on Alberto Garcia, I should say. Not quite working for him there. You can hear there Csaba blipping down through the gears. Trying to be smooth on the exit. Now we ride on board with the Iveco. 3 different manufacturers in the top 3, which is always good. MAN, Scania and Iveco. Lovely trail braking on the way into the right-hander there by Csaba. Again, look, as he gets onto the brakes, you can see the back end wants to break away. But just look at the amount of lock that they're using here. It was 90 degrees through the right-hander and then way more than that through the left, just to try and tuck those front wheels in. He gets on the power nice and early, kicks the back end out a slight bit. Didn't seem to upset his rhythm too much. Is he going to go down the inside here? He's looking, he's filling the mirrors. They all have that rear view screen in the dashboard, so they can see who's behind them. See roughly where they are. I'm unsure if all of them have the what we call the virtual mirrors on, so you know it's not exactly a mirror in the cockpit, but you get a small view behind you of what everybody else is doing. But Csaba is definitely not mucking about here. He's filling Robin Kruitoff's mirrors just to make sure that he knows he's there. That's as if he can't already see him through that rear view screen, but look at the pace from Csaba. He's really on this now, isn't he? In the background, you've got Cornel Berquez, Josi Vila and Gergo Balai. All drivers that could do with a couple more points here and there. Angel Rapero on our picture-in-picture, chasing down Mark Muehlmann. Now, to me, Mart is now back where he should have been once the moment down at the chicane happened and he went straight on. He shouldn't have ever really been 1.3 seconds clear of Angel Rapero. You can see he's in the middle between Gillian Christian and Rapero. This is a great push by Csaba Hegedűs. He's absolutely throwing this Iveco around. I'm unsure whether he's going to be able to beat Kruitoff by the end, but he's certainly throwing everything at it, isn't he? Through the left, through the right, through the left, through the right. Like a roller coaster down the hill. It's a very pretty roller coaster here at Autodrom Most. Like I said, one of my absolute favourite circuits on the calendar. I really do hope I get to visit there one day. I was hoping to get out to the pre-season testing again for the trucks, but they have quite the tight-knit event. And I don't know if you know, but for motorsport commentators this time of year, having money is not something that happens. But Csaba Hegedűs, he doesn't care about any of that right now, or what pre-season testing's going on here, where or when. Because he just wants to get past that big blue Scania of Robin Kruitoff. They are 8 seconds away from Jorge Vila. He's put in an average so far of a second a lap on these guys. Just going to look at the previous lap times as well, just to check who was where. And it was a 2 minutes 0.8 for Jorge Vila. And it was a 2 minutes 2.2 for Robin Kruitoff, so 1.4 seconds slower. Csaba Hegedűs was only 0.8 of a second slower than our race leader, but Jorge Vila making an absolute example of this race so far. Here's Mark Muehlmann, all over the back now of Gillian Christian. You could say he's been fairly held up again behind Gillian. As he gives him a shove. That's not going to go down well, I can tell you. Side by side on the exit. And, we don't want to see this turn into big contact like that. Mark needs to give him more room than that, and Gillian's going to retaliate back down the inside, I imagine. No. Good stuff that actually by Gillian. He tries to scare him into it as, whoa, Angel Rapero scares himself out of it. And somehow nearly still gets the run on Gillian Christian. There's the move. Back down the inside, he says, yeah, you're not just pushing me out of the way, sunshine. Have some of that back, but he needs to be careful now, because if Angel Rapero gets through, he's then going to lose his chance to try and get one back over on Mark Muehlmann. We don't encourage him to try and make intentional contact, of course. He's flashing the lights because he's unhappy. That's understandable. That's about the most harmless way you can sort of show your displeasure with your fellow competitor. It did seem like a bit of an unfair move, that, from Mark Muehlmann, I must say. He was a clear sort of NASCAR-style bump and run. It still upsets me to this day, the current driving standards in NASCAR events. It's all a big song and dance, but you know, when you allow bumps like that to be part of the result, then it's, I don't know, I disagree with it. But hopefully Mark Muehlmann sees sense and allows Gillian Christian back through at some point. I don't think he will do, though, based on the body language of that previous lap. And now it's Angel Repero who's on the attack, as you see, on the exit of the chicane. Although no, backs out of it, tries to go back around the outside now, using the run up through the gears. They've got to think about Aitor Marinas in this as well, because that number 13 machine has come out of nowhere and is suddenly in the picture as well. Repero finds a way down the inside into the left-hander. Got to be careful though, Aitor's in this. He wants a piece. Down the inside he goes. Oh, he's locked it up though. There's a little bit of a shove. That wasn't too bad though. That wasn't quite like what we saw before from Mark Muehlmann for 7th position. That was a lot more innocent, that was. Aitor Marinas just wanted to make a move down the inside, overcooked it slightly, and made a slight bit of contact. Repero now has a bit more work to do. So too does Robin Kreutoff, because while he defends from Csaba Hegedűs, they are now 10.6 seconds behind Jorge Vila. But also, Cornel Burquez is in the picture too. He wants a bit of this. He wants to try and maybe help his teammate. I don't know how he's going to help him from behind there, but if he was in front and could slow him down, that would be a lot easier, wouldn't it? Robin Kreutoff all over the road here, trying to hold on in front of the Iveco, and that is a mighty well-calculated move, that by Hegedűs. Can he keep his nose down the inside? There's a tiny touch, and maybe another one on the exit. Robin Kreutoff uses that round outside line to get decent momentum off the final corner, but they stay side by side now across the line. One more lap to go after this one. And these two are making one another work for this. This is not just a battle for second in this race, but second in the championship with the amount of points that this will give them. You can see the two Total Energies shark fins. Oh, they need to be careful with that on the exit. There's another little tap there as well. Angel Repero has got back ahead of Aitor Marinas in the background. They remain making contact. Marinas back ahead of Repero then. Clearly that didn't last long. Through the left, you can see that Scania just, it looks like it's struggling, doesn't it? It really doesn't look like it's happy to behave itself. As Hegedűs goes deep into the hairpin and his teammate wants a bit of this. Oh, that wasn't helpful by Cornel Burquez. Cornel was trying to help him there. He would have backed out of that one and let Csaba get the cutback and get the run down the hill to this right-hander here, but he's not had that this time round. He's still got one more lap after this, so he's just eyeing up his opportunities for that final push to the flag. This is a fantastic race so far for second position. It's pretty much a given that we're going to have Jorge Vila take the victory. For these two, well, we're not sure yet, are we? I'm certainly not. 13.5 seconds now, the current lead between Vila and Kreutoff. Hegedűs in third position, though, has now only got 0.3 of a second back to Cornel Burquez. Then it's Josi Vila as well. He's almost in this picture now. 0.7 of a second behind this battle. Then there's quite the gap back to Gergo Balai, so they don't have to worry so much about that. But even then, he's a teammate of two of these drivers in the Urban Sim Racing Ivecos. Across the line to start the final lap goes Josi Vila. Sorry, Jorge Vila. Then we have Robin Kreutoff and Csaba Hegedűs. Look at that, 2:03.5 and 2:03.8 by these guys. The previous lap there by Jorge Vila was a 2 minutes 1.2. So a much quicker lap by Jorge Vila, because these guys are defending and battling with each other and just slowing each other down throughout the whole thing. And the not quite number 48 / number 34 machine wants to do everything it can do to get by. This will, I think, reverse the order between these two in the championship. Either that or they'll be tied on points, as there's only 4 between them right now for second, as they both try and take on Jorge Vila. But as you can see from this race, you need a bit of a miracle at the moment to take on Jorge Vila. He's been absolutely flying, as that's a big old hit in the bumper bar there from Hegedűs onto the back of Kreutoff. I'm sure Kreutoff's had 1 or 2 of them in the real world of racing as well in that Scania, so he knows exactly what to do. Mark Muehlmann in the background has actually got ahead of Gergo Balai, it seems. Hopefully it wasn't another one of his little bump and runs that we saw down at the hairpin earlier. But again, this has been another fantastic exemplary race of, it doesn't have to be constant position changes for it to be good. Amazing chase this by Csaba Hegedűs, trying to get past that pesky Scania T of Robin Kreutoff. And I know that both of them will be loving this chase. Robin will be working his backside off right now, just trying to hold on. But Jorge Vila in the top right of your screen, he's already into the final corner and he's already drifting the MAN through turn 22. Lovely, lovely slide around there. Kicks up loads of smoke. And Jorge Vila takes another absolutely emphatic victory here at Autodrom Most. Very well done to the Spaniard. Extends his championship lead. And it looks like it is going to be Robin Kreutoff who comes to the line in second position. Third place goes the way of Csaba Hegedűs ahead of Cornel Burkes. Josi Vila in fifth position. Then behind them, Mark Muehlmann, by the look of it, he's going to come home in sixth place ahead of Gergo Balai, number 86. He's going to have his countryman Gillian Christian alongside him on the front row for race 2, 16 and 86 beside one another. Gillian Christian flying down the start-finish straight there, and he's going to go straight over the first chicane by the look of it. Aitor Marinas was 9th ahead of Angel Rapero, 10th. Bastian Donker in 11th. Herman Tobias Martinez in 12th position. And Alberto Garcia and Bjorn Tajhus, truck number 51. I absolutely love that DAF CF. Then it's Christian Artezeros in 15th. Matis Krizmanic in 16th place ahead of Gyula Zentai, the only Freightliner in the field here this evening. Henry Tajhus as well in the number 15 machine, also cutting that first chicane. And Hendrik Neitsch is going to cross the line in 19th position in the Rising Suns Motorsport machine. And now you can see a lovely 3-wide demonstration here by the Dutch drivers with Benny Gedankt on the windscreen banners. Love that Kreeft livery. The Opleidingen livery looks absolutely mega. That you can see obviously on the old school DAF CF, and then the potential, well, we could call it a fantasy livery that they want to put onto the Scania going into this season on the Scania R-Cab. I don't think Aitor Marinas has got the picture here with what these guys are doing. I think he thinks that they're trying to purposely hold him up, but this is a bit of a parade lap for Benny. Yeah, and Aitor now trying to cut around the outside. Yeah, I don't think he got the picture there. Now the guys are getting back on it a little bit. But Herman Tobias Martinez in there with them as well. Robin Kreutoff in that Scania. And even the 86 machine of Gergo Balai taking part in this. You can see there Bastian Donker as well further back. I think Josi Vila also in the picture too. Well, another lovely little display that for Benny. And we hope, Benny, you are enjoying the show so far. It's great to see these two very different machines underneath wearing the same livery side by side for this nice little parade in lap. Now I'm unsure if they're going to go into the pits or whether they are going to go onto the start finish straight for anything at the end here. And they are going to do the latter. I don't know if Mark Muehlmann was aware of that. It looked like he was ready to go to the pits. No, they are actually going to go to the pits, are they? Aren't they? Like they're making their minds up now. Ah, that's why, because the session was coming to a close. Well, what we'll do is just leave you with the pictures of highlights from the first race of the night, and then we'll come back in a few minutes' time and we'll grid up for the second race of the evening. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a few. Okay, welcome back everybody to the 2025 Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship Digital Racing Challenge here from Autodrom Most. With me, Chaz Draycott, in the commentary box, the virtual commentary box for this evening's racing. Second race of the night just about to get underway here from this fabulous circuit. We've got Gero Mulkau on the organiser and director duties. He's a very busy boy, but he is certainly enjoying the show as well from up there in the director's chair. And I'm sure the drivers are enjoying this as well from their respective seats, because that was a busy race, that one. And it was again proving to us that while we have a bit of a smaller field here this evening with 19 trucks on the grid as opposed to the 30 plus that we've had in the past, it's still very good racing. And it's lovely to see as well, thanks to my position with this one, it's lovely to see that I've got access to the chat within the server. And it was lovely, actually, because, what was it? Let me just check this for you. Yeah, Csaba Hagedú saying, well done, Kroitov, great race. Robin said he changed the setting after qualifying and it was a bad idea. But thank you, Csaba. Nice, clean racing. And then Csaba went on to apologise for the little bit of contact on the last lap. He said, sorry for my last lap hit. I made a little bit of a mistake. And Robin just put, that was nothing. Don't worry about it. And it's great to see that they've got that sportsmanship between them. You know, these guys, they know that they're doing this for a good time and to celebrate truck racing and to be able to do it without the physical logistics of it all, you know, and worrying about causing a little bit of damage here and there, ripping a bumper off and doing it virtually. These guys know they're here for a good time, and they certainly have that with one another. It's mega to see as well, especially with two guys that, you know, we've got Robin and Csaba. They are fighting for second in the championship behind Jorge Vila. They are still having a good time of it, having great respectful battles with one another, and it really is lovely to see. Angel Rapero as well apologised to Mark Muehlmann, and he said sorry for that, he didn't mean to do it at all, and he said that's absolutely fine. He says no problem, these things can happen. So again, great respect between all of our competitors. We've got Gillian Christian on pole position for this second race of the night, ahead of Gergo Balai, so another urban sim racing Iveco on the front row for this race. Mark Muehlmann will start on row 2 with José Vila alongside him. The Spaniard starting in 4th position. So 4 different teams in the top 4. Then it's Cornel Berquez and his teammate Csaba Hagedú on row 3. The 2 urban sim racing Ivecos hoping to hold the fort a little bit for their teammate, but behind them it's a sea of blue as they have Robin Kroitov, Jorge Vila and Aitor Marinas in their trucks 45, 12 and 13. And then alongside Aitor Marinas, we have the ever-exciting Angel Rapero on the 5th row of the grid. Next up, we have Herman Tobias Martinez and Bastian Donker. And then Alberto Garcia and that man there, Bjorn Tajhus, in the number 51 DAF CF. Christian Artazeros is next on the grid, with Matis Krizminic alongside him. Krizminic made a few places up in that previous race. He starts ahead of Gyula Zentai, Henry Tajhus and Hendrik Neitsch, who will complete the 19 truck field in truck number 80. But any of these guys within the top 8 here have got the opportunity to win this race, because we have the top 8 reversed on the grid, of course, with Jorge Vila starting in 8th position. But yeah, any of these guys, like I say, could take the victory. These races can be a little bit of a lottery sometimes, and you do get drivers that are more patient than others as they make their way through the field. I'm excited to see who shows the most patience for this round of the season. Now then, it's Gillian Christian on the inside line, Gergo Balai on the outside line. They all back it up now and pack the field together. It's not Gillian's first time starting from the front of the grid, so he knows what to do by now. You can see him there on the brakes. He's building up the boost. Robin Kroitov ready to jump out to the right-hand side. Back into the tram lines he goes. And the second race of the night in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship Digital Racing Challenge is underway. A little bit of a messy one that. I think Gillian got away and then had to brake again. Looks like they're nearly 3 wide in the middle of the field there. I think, is that Jorge Vila going through the middle? It absolutely is. That's Cornel Burkes and Csaba Hegedűs around him. Oh, there's big contact. Herman Tobias Martinez is off. José Vila is off as well. Around the wrong way is Mark Muehlmann. There is that horrible flip over again that we've seen before. That's Csaba Hegedűs involved in that as well. Garcia was involved. Oh, goodness me. There was numerous trucks off there. Gillian Christian back in the lead of the race. José Vila second. Robin Kreutoff third. Jorge Vila in fourth place. We saw Bjorn Teichhuis' truck on its side as well. That was big contact. I have to think that may have been caused there by Jorge Vila. He put the truck in the middle, made it 3 wide. He really didn't need to. And then I think a few of them were unsettled on the brakes and having a bad time of it. But Gillian Christian leads. José Vila second. Robin Kreutoff third. Jorge Vila fourth, Cornel Burkes in fifth position. Then it's Angel Rapero, Herman Tobias Martinez. Henry Teichhuis has moved up to 15th position. He's had a wild start to this one. Then it's Christian Artezeros and Matis Krizmanic. Bjorn Teichhuis is still running though, despite the truck being rolled onto its side. As there's Mark Muehlmann off the road. Having a wild old ride. This is Csaba Hegedűs though. Now, if he wants to continue his championship charge, he needs to get back up the order. Right now, he finds himself just behind Henrik Neisch. Trying to focus on getting the run out of the corner. It's so difficult to overtake in these things. Even if you have a big pace advantage, it's so hard to get enough of a run and get it in enough of a clean position to be able to make the move. It's got to be done like that on the brakes. That was tidy stuff, that as well. And hats off to Henrik Neisch for allowing him through like that, allowing the space. That was clean, respectful racing, that by Hendrik. But now Csaba has a big old job on his hands. Try and get back up to the sharp end of the order. Jorge Vila is still up there. I think it'll be a bit frustrating for some of the others to see. I mean, it's not definite that it was him, but obviously if they had the assumption that it was down to him making it 3 wide, then you could feel like they'd be a little bit frustrated to see that he's managed to get away with it. And a number of other trucks were off the road and flipped over and all sorts. We look here though at Bastian Donker. He's chasing down Gyula Zentai at the moment. The only Freightliner in the field, and Bastian gets the run on the exit of the hairpin. Nice little run, that one. Is it enough though? Down the hill they go, still side by side. Yeah, in that case there, Gyula Zentai backs out of it, says nope, you go through. I know that you're quicker than me at the moment, so you get on with the job, you do what you've got to do. Right now, Jorge Vila all over the back of Robin Kreutoff. Hopefully we don't see any tactics here working between José Vila and Jorge Vila, because José is in, I mean, admittedly a great position to be able to slow Robin down if he catches up to him and tries to have a go. Hopefully we don't see anything too untoward between those pair. You couldn't blame them for trying it though, if that becomes the case. Onto the brakes they go, then into the first chicane. Is Jorge going to go for it on the brakes? Of course he is. Down the inside he goes. Robin leaves just enough room for an MAN down the inside there. Says no thank you. Tries to run away with it on exit. All the way back down the hill they go again, and you can just see, look how quickly they've lost ground already to José Vila in front. With just that one defensive move there. Into turn 10 they go again, and look at that. Oh no, Jorge Vila tries to get around the outside of Robin Kreutoff. Luckily, again, like in the previous race, Robin, with lots of experience of driving a Scania sideways, able to control it, keep it going. That won't have been the ideal way around that corner for him. Now, Jorge's still on the attack. He hasn't backed out despite that little bit of contact we saw before. I think that was another little tap there for just a moment. He's certainly knocking on the door quite physically here, isn't he, Jorge Vila? But it's almost like the MAN has mounted the back of the Scania. Got to be careful there not to turn him around with the overlap. Again, very easily done. Not an easy thing to do is to follow this closely for this long in racing as close as this, and oh, it looks like Robin doesn't get the run that he wants out of that corner. Jorge Vila alongside all the way down the straight. He's going to try it again late on the brakes now, but he's obviously a lot further forward than he was on the previous lap. I think this is going to be his, or is it? Oh, he runs Robin out of room a little bit on the exit. Robin has to come back across the curb. He won't like that one. And hello, into the picture here comes Cornel Burquez. The number 64 suddenly arrives on the scene. Thank you very much, gentlemen. I'm enjoying watching this battle, but now I'd like to be a part of it, please. Can I come through, he says. Absolutely not, is the reception that he gets from the party ahead. See Robin working hard there to try and tuck the truck back in on exit. But as they head back down the hill, Josi Vila is closing in on Gillian Christian for the race lead here. It could very well be the case that Josi gets the job done in a couple of laps if he keeps this pace up. The thing is, he's not had to worry about the drivers behind either. So he's not had to watch his mirrors and be concerned with what they're doing. He's been able to just attack at the moment and put faster laps in than Gillian Christian. They head around the final corner again here to complete lap 5. It's looking like Josi's in a good position to attack. Now obviously slipstream means nothing because they're limited to 160 k's, 100 miles an hour. Both of them are on the same limiter. But once you get to that speed, you can't gain anything else. It's all about the run out of the corners. It's more important than the top speed of the thing. That's why truck racing is so interesting and so intricate sometimes, is that, you know, it's easier in other forms of motorsport if, you know, if the team has to build the car from the ground up and there's even the tiniest power advantage from one to the next, you'll make up time easily on the straights. But in truck racing, with everybody limited to 160 kilometers an hour, oh, hello, bit of a kiss there from Josi Vila onto the back of Gillian Christian. I was going to say, with the speed limited, obviously everybody reaches the same threshold. It's all about the twisty parts of the track. How much corner speed you carry, how good your exit of the corner is as well. But right now it's looking like Jorge Vila is in quite a position to pounce, doesn't it? He's waiting just to see what Josi Vila does with these next few laps, I think. See whether he attacks really hard here on Gillian Christian and holds them up, or he could be sitting behind them and hoping that they sort of drag him away from Robin Kreutzhoff a little bit, because that Scania isn't quite able to stick with them. at this moment in time. Jorge's been able to just put in some incredible laps. Let's check the lap times as they cross the line now. It should come up on the left-hand side of your screen. Yeah, 2028, 2028, 2014 from Jorge Vila. Robin Krojtov does a 2019. There's, further back, there's a little bit of shenanigans going on there. The number 84 machine of Christian Artezeros was completely sideways. He was in a good scrap side by side there with, I think, Aitor Marinas in truck 13. Bastian Donker in the mix as well. Side by side as they head into the first corner, and it is Aitor Marinas on the inside. He's gone in well too hot. And oh no, he's tried to recover halfway through the chicane. Not the ideal thing to do. And then runs wide on the exit. Deary me. I think the others needed a bit of a crystal ball to try and presume where he was going to go there. Look at that there. Jorge Vila now looking down the inside of Josi Vila. Josi not able to get past Gillian Christian just yet, and I feel now is when Jorge's going to start getting a little bit more impatient with his namesake. Josi, oh, that looked like he went in hot into there actually, but I think it was just more that Jorge was backing out slightly to make sure it didn't hit his teammate. And now Jorge goes down the inside. Josi didn't get the run that he wanted. He says, after you. Jorge goes through. And now he's right into the back of Gillian Christian. But look behind them as well. Because of that switch of position and the loss of momentum, Robin Krojtov is suddenly in the picture now as well in 4th place. Then behind them is Cornel Burkes. Top 5 glued together here at Autodrom Most in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship Digital Racing Challenge in 2025. And Robin Krojtov looks down the inside of Josi Vila. Puts his nose down there and the Scania doesn't quite work. Has to back out of it. Cornel Burkes, he wants to try and get through as well. Oh, dearie me, there was nearly contact there. I think there was a little tap actually from Cornel to Robin. But across the line to complete 7 laps. On to lap 8 we go. And Jorge Vila, surely it's a case of when, not if, that MAN gets past the other. Late on the brakes, round the outside into the chicane, carries great speed through there. He's going to be on the inside line for the next part. Gillian Christian leaves him loads of room and Jorge Vila through. Lovely, lovely move that by our championship leader. And it works out beautifully because his teammate comes through as well. Josi Vila into 2nd place. Robin Krojtov and Gillian Christian leaning on each other there. I don't think Gillian wanted to give that one up without a fight. Robin back down the inside. Tight to give room through here. Oh, dearie me, that was really good stuff, but there was inevitably contact, and Cornel Burkes is now going to go through on the Dutchman. But will Robin give it up? No, of course he won't. Tries to go back around the outside. No, he's been absolutely freight trained there. Angel Repero comes through. Now he's on the outside, that becomes the inside. Cornel Burkes wants to get past Gillian Christian next, his countryman. The 2 Hungarians. 3rd and 4th now, as it's Jorge and Josi Vila 1st and 2nd here at Most. They'll be over the moon with the way this race is going now. Very tidy attack on our previous race leader, Gillian. But you've got to think that Jorge Vila, with this sort of pace and consistency, he is now putting one hand on that championship trophy. We still have 3 race meetings left to go after this one. Sorry, 2 race meetings to go after this one. Apologies. 7 in total this season. But right now, Robin Krojtov, well, he's going to be a bit frustrated, isn't he, after that? Because he was so close behind Jorge Vila after the earlier overtake. Right now, he's looking at the back of Angel Repero's Scania. We've got 4 Scanias in a row. Repero, Krojtov, Martinez, Donker. And it's 3 MANs leading this race from an Iveco. Cornel Burkes, 4th position for him. And he's giving a bit of a push to Gillian Christian. Gillian, he wants to hold on for this podium here. 8th place in the earlier race, which meant he started from pole position for race number 2. He's going to be pushing to try and hold on. Gets a little bit of a tap from Cornell. I remember the last time I saw Cornel Burkes on a podium, actually. It was back in, oh dearie me, was that Zolder? Cornel Burkes last podium. Race number 1 back at Zolder. Nathan Smith won the race later on in the day from Muehlmann and then Kreuthoff, who had an epic battle. But yeah, Cornel Burkes' previous podium back at Zolder. I'm just checking how many top 10s he's had so far this season. He's 4th in the championship, 8 top 10s, 6 top 5s, but no race victories. 1 win for Nathan Smith, 2 wins for Csaba Hegedűs, and, well, 6 now for Jorge Vila. As Gillian Christian says, Cornel, just try that grass for me, mate. Just see what that's like out there, please. Make sure it's definitely nice, slippy grass. Not somewhere that you want to put a racing truck. As Reparo looks to the inside. Burkes, I mean, I think putting my, oh dearie me, come on. I think putting my stewarding hat on for a second, not that I'm a steward of the championship, but Cornell came across there to defend when it was way too late. But then Angel on the exit, I think in frustration, sort of runs him out of road and barges him off the circuit. I feel really sorry there for Gillian Christian because he was running a really clean race, defending lovely. But you can see, look, there's the initial contact, but then this from Reparo. No, don't agree with that, unfortunately. That doesn't look good from any angle, that from Reparo. He knew that Burkes was going to, even if he was off the circuit, he was going to try to get back on. He had no intentions of letting Burkes back on the track there, in my opinion, and that is a shame to see because Angel has ruffled the feathers of those drivers a few times before, and it seems like he's doing that again here now this evening. That's a big shame. He's also on for a podium as well, which will definitely ruffle some feathers if he finishes there. That's why Robin Kreuthoff is now blessed with the opportunity to take that away from the number 87 Scania and place his own Scania on this podium. It seems at this point like it's Vila and Vila that are determined to get that 1-2 in the family name. And hats off, you know, aside from the start of the race, which will, I'm sure, be looked at, they've been very clean since that point. But Jorge Vila made it 3 wide down towards turn 1. I think Josi Vila, no, it wasn't Josi Vila, apologies. It was Alberto Garcia, I think, was the one that jumped the start. And it all seemed to just get a little bit messy down his turn 1, to say the least. We had Mark Muehlmann around, Henrik Neitsch is out of the race now, Christian Artizeros also out of the race. Mark Muehlmann has recovered to 12th position. He's just behind Alberto Garcia. He's got past the likes of Bjorn Tajhus and Matis Krismanic. Krismanic is his name near the end of the year. Robin Kreuthoff now, though, 4th position. On to lap 11 out of 12. One more lap after this one here at Autodrom Most. You're watching the 2025 Digital Racing Challenge from the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship with Chaz Draycott here on commentary duties. And the wonderful Gero Mulkow on director's duties as well. Some fantastic drivers out there this evening. Some of which race in the trucks that you see here in the real world. Some of which are the finest truck racing sim racers in Europe. Robin Kreuthoff does race this Scania in the real world. If he finishes actually in 3rd position here, it will be 3 real world drivers in real world trucks that fill that podium. And Most is a circuit that demands the sort of experience that you get from racing these things in the real world. So think about how to look after them over a race distance. But there's just 1 lap to go after this, and Angel Reparo there in 3rd position, trying his best to hold on in truck number 87. You can see just behind as well, Cornel Burkes still pushing away. Gillian Christian is ahead of Germán Tobias Martinez. Martinez recovering after a bit of a damaging race earlier on. There is the Spaniard. Got the number 16 of Gillian Christian filling his windscreen right now. I love the livery on this number 33 machine. Great looking race truck. The Auto Vitania. But there's one more lap left, and it's Jorge Vila leading the way from Josi Vila. 2 MANs. Then it's 2 Scanias, Angel Rapero and Robin Kroitov. Then Cornel Berquez and the Iveco. Another MAN of Gillian Christian. Then 2 more Scanias, 2 more Ivecos. Quite a bit of symmetry there, except for the Berquez and Christian battle that we have in the middle. And here we go, lap 12 out of 12 here. The 24th lap of racing this evening. Round number 5 in 2025. What can Robin Kroitov do about that number 87 Scania in front of him? Can he get a good enough run out of this first chicane? He needs to tuck it wide, tuck it back in, get on the power nice and smooth. Oh, that was a little bit messy there from Robin. It went one way then the other very quickly, and that rear end did not want to stick to the ground. And look at that, he's lost a truck length or 2 over Angel Rapero right now. Rapero can breathe easy, just needs to keep it tidy through this sector and not leave a load of time on the table. Whoa, look at that in the background. Wow, Cornel Berquez up on 2 wheels, sunshine. Big old rodeo through the left-hander. Manages to get it back down on planet Earth, goes through decompression on the way through, smacks the suspension into the floor. Look at this. Bang, clips that inside wheel over that curb. Lovely quick replay there from Giro, rapid on the buttons. Well, that was a big old moment that by Cornel Berquez, and that could have cost him a lot of points as well if that went wrong. That could have gone very quickly wrong. But it's Jorge Vila, second in front of Josi Vila right now, with no major challengers behind them. These guys fighting away though. But would you look at this, Jorge Vila, well, he's finished in the last 6 races that I've covered anyway, first, 6th, first, second, and now first and first here tonight. What a night once again for Jorge Vila. An amazing victory with Josi Vila in second position. A wonderful family 1-2 as they cross the line at Autodrom Most to secure some big old points. Angel Rapero finishes in third position ahead of Robin Kroitov, and then Cornel Berquez next up in truck number 64. Then it's Gillian Christian ahead of Herman Tobias Martinez, truck number 33. Then it's Csaba Hegedűs, truck number 34, ahead of Bastian Donker and Gergo Balai. He completes the top 10. Mark Muehlmann finishes in 11th ahead of Alberto Garcia. Bjorn Teichhuis finishes in 13th place. Matis Krizmanic in 14th. Marinas 15th, apologies. Declared Chaz can't read. Henry Teichhuis in 16th place. Eula Zentai in 17th. And then Hendrik Neitsch and Christian Artizeros, unfortunately, not finishing that second race of the evening. But we look here at Bjorn Teichhuis, who I believe will do another in-lap. And some wonderful burnouts being done here as well. This one's for you, Benny. You danked Benny. Oh, hello. A big bit of contact in the foreground there. Nice of them to park the trucks like that. But look at this from Bjorn Teichhuis. Big old burnouts. How awesome is that? As they head all the way down the hill towards turns 6, 7, 8, and 9. That is a lovely thing to see. But Benny, I'm sure so many of these guys out here have endless thanks to give you for your fantastic service to truck racing. And we hope you have enjoyed this journey as much as I'm sure these guys have enjoyed sharing it with you. Fantastic to see them all getting in on the moment. And now I believe they'll have their sort of slow parade lap inwards now. As these beautiful racing machines glide their way around the rest of the circuit. Big burnout from Robin Kroitov. And we sincerely hope you've all enjoyed the show. You in particular, Benny. Thank you so much. These three wonderful gentlemen. 3 wide, although now getting Robin in there 4 wide as well. Gyula Zentai arrives behind the wall of Dutch racing drivers. Robin being his usual flamboyant self. And I mean, Most isn't the widest of circuits, so 4 wide is probably a big ask, but look at the accuracy from these guys to make that happen. And then before you know it, the session ticks over, and that's that. That is us from Autodrom Most here for round number 5 of the championship. Just 2 more race meetings to go. In 2 weeks' time, we head to Jarama in Spain. And then on April the 13th, we head to Misano for the season finale. Can Jorge Vila wrap it up next time? We'll have to wait and see. 2 weeks' time, and we'll be back. Thank you so much to everybody for watching. Thank you all the drivers for participating, and gedankt Benny as well. Thank you so, so much, my friend. You will be sorely missed. Thanks for watching, everybody. We hope you had a fantastic evening, and we'll see you again very soon.